Stimwalt here. Best performance settings for EvilDead the game. Growing up, Army of Darkness was one of my favorites, so I'm excited to play the game. We're going to dive into the settings and then go to video and just start tweaking things, see how we can get the most frames per second out of this. On the right-hand side, you're going to see sort of general settings regardless of whether you have an AMD GPU or an NVIDIA GeForce GPU. So keep in mind, those are important to read through and understand. And obviously update your video card drivers to the latest. That goes without saying. I set the gamma to brightest because I just prefer that. It's totally up to you. Contrast 0. The default setting I would recommend you start with is DLSS quality and just see how it performs. Display mode should always be full screen. You'll lose frames if you use windowed. View distance, you could use epic, high, or medium. I'm probably going to start with high and see how it performs. Maybe tweak it down if it's not doing so well. Shadows, drop it to medium. It's the lowest you can go with it. Textures, I like keeping high on epic because I like to see high textures. I like the way the textures look in this game as well. Effects, put it at low. It's just changing the terrain detail really. And shading, keeping it medium. It's a dark game already, so you don't need a lot of that. VSync, turn it off, especially if you have a G-Sync or FreeSync monitor. It's really useless. Tessellation adds a lot of details, so that's the sort of stock setting you could start with before you really start tweaking it for your system for NVIDIA users. So let's go into AMD users that don't have NVIDIA DLSS. We'll turn this off, and we're going to set it to the extreme setting. Now you would think that would set the resolution scale to 100, but in this case it actually sets it to 95 in the config file. So we're going to want to fix that. We're going to go into Windows and I'll show you how to do that. It's pretty simple, really. So first off, if you are an NVIDIA user, this is a tweak that you can do. Basically, you just go to the NVIDIA control panel, and then you're going to go up to Adjust Image Settings with Preview and set it to Performance. It's that simple. Just apply and you're done. Now we're going to go into the config file. It's in C users, AppData, EvilDead, saved config, WindowsNoEditor, and then the GameUserSettings.ini. And here, confirm your resolution values are correct. Make sure that the HDR is set to false. And finally, the resolution quality needs to be 100. So make sure you set it to 100. And then just go to the INI file. And you're going to make it read-only, so when the game launches, it will not overwrite your changes. And that's it. So let's dive into a tutorial. And we're going to do a daemon because you get to go really fast and it will really test the frames per second. Because you're moving really fast, you're loading a lot of objects quickly. And you can see in the upper right, I've got my frames per second open with Alt-R on the GeForce Experience overlay. And I'm getting between, looks like, 100 and 140, which is really good. No complaints here. I mean, those are really great frames per second. The quality is okay. I think it could be better, but it's not bad. This is extremely playable. It's very smooth. And obviously if you're an AMD user and you have a Radeon video card, you're going to update your drivers. If you have an NVIDIA video card, you're going to update your drivers. So make sure you get the most performance out of the drivers. So I might reduce the view distance here to medium just to see if I can squeak out a little bit more frames. It didn't seem to make much of a difference. If I was to guess, my average is around like 120 frames per second without using DLSS. So you might be able to do better than me. But we're just going to exit here and we're going to go back in to settings and video. And we're going to turn on DLSS because I do have a GeForce video card, and I'm going to do quality. You could just put it at auto if you want, but I'm going to mess around with it a little bit more. Quality for DLSS. Save it, and then let's dive right back in, do a daemon tutorial run,
Bring me forth
and see how it performs. So I mean, already I'm at like 130 like average. So there is a big difference with DLSS enabled with NVIDIA cards, and I got a 2080 Ti, so it's not even that great of a video card. many people have the 3000 series, so you're probably going to be easily doing better than me. So keep in mind you can tweak your settings up if you've got a better video card than a 2080 Ti. But I mean, at quality setting with medium distance, that's pretty good. My average was 135, I think. So if I drop it to balanced, which is basically, you know, sacrificing a little bit of performance, or I'm sorry, sacrificing a little bit of quality for performance, you can see that my average increased dramatically. I'm at like 150s. So that's something to keep in mind. I'm now just switched over to ultra performance, and you can see that I'm at 180, 175 average, it seems like. So that's nuts. The quality definitely is lower though. So it's kind of up to you. I prefer quality picture, sort of at a compromise for frames per second. And by the way, my monitor, yeah, we'll just drop this back to, let's do balanced, and let's increase the view distance, see what this does. My monitor is a 165 hertz monitor, so anything above 165 frames per second, I'm not really visually seeing it or getting any benefit. So it makes sense for me to tweak my settings to be below 165, so I'm getting the maximum quality and the maximum visual frames that I can see in the game. So I think I like this setting. It's good. Balanced is definitely good, but I might just go for quality because I don't know. If it can look a little bit better and I'm only losing like maybe 10 frames of performance, then that's worth it to me. But it's really important that you all go through this testing so you can really get the optimal setting for your rig. And I'm really happy with 150s average. That's great. Oh, it's even going into the 160. So this is like the Goldilocks zone for my particular system. You're going to have to do the same thing as me. Whether you got an AMD card or an NVIDIA card, you know, you're going to have to tweak this up or down. And I could certainly tweak it up a little bit more. I could probably increase the effects a little bit and the shading and whatnot, just to make it a little bit nicer. But the important thing here is to know how to do it. How do you test it? Yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I'll definitely do some gameplay videos because this is a really fun game. It's real quick, sort of like Left 4 Dead 2 meets Dead by Daylight in terms of gameplay. But it's its own thing. It's got its own lore. It's based on Hollywood movies, and I love them. See ya.